Hey Danish tuber, welcome back to another episode on Danish Tube Podcast. Thanks for being here. If you want to get more out of your Danish learning experience, you can become an essential Danish Tube member. The Danish Tube website is now a complete platform for Danish learners. By becoming a site member, you get access to video courses, interactive exercises, quizzes, ebooks, live webinar Q&A sessions, and live classes. You will also get access to podcast show notes along with related exercises. Alternatively, you can become a member of the YouTube channel by joining Team Aarhus, Team Copenhagen, or Team Denmark. All the links you need are in the description. Otherwise, let's get going with today's episode. Hej Danish tuber, og velkommen tilbage til Danish Tube Podcast. Welcome back to Danish Tube Podcast. Det er 2024 og tid til sæson nummer 13. It's 2024 and time for season, that's a lot of force, season number 13. Og vi har fået en mega stor nyhed.
Vi har netop fejret julen. Den dejlige fest med juletræ og tændte lys og forventningsfulde børn. I den mørkeste tid på året lyser julen op. Nu står det nye år for døren. I aften fejrer vi nytårsaften. Foran os ligger et år, som vi møder med forventning, men også med bekymring, for der sker voldsomme ting ude i verden. Nogle årstal står klart i vores bevidsthed, fordi vi knytter dem til bestemte begivenheder. Året 1943 husker vi for redningen af de danske jøder. Det var 80 år siden i oktober. Hvad skal vi gøre, når uskyldige mennesker bliver angrebet?
Du kender nok stemmen. Det var den dejlige dronning Margrethe. You know her voice. That was the wonderful Queen Margrethe, if you like. Margrethe. And I'm going to analyze, read through, translate her speech. So if you saw it and you didn't catch everything, nu er tiden omme, og vi skal analysere lidt hendes tale, og det bliver sprogmæssigt selvfølgelig i forhold til dansk. Of course, linguistically in regards to Danish. And firstly, let me just go back to the text here, which you'll be able to also find in the description. A little grammar thing here, a very simple one that we've had many times on this channel. She starts with, vi har netop fejret julen, den dejlige fest. We have, of course, just celebrated Christmas, the lovely celebration, lovely party, if you like. Or she says, den dejlige, and the word dejlige has an E on the end because it is this definite form, den dejlige fest. You always do this with adjectives. Anyway, let's not get too hung up on grammar stuff. But basically she's saying, we've just celebrated Christmas, big party, the Christmas tree, candles, expectant children, and in the darkest time of the year, Christmas lights up. So, it gets dark, but Christmas is something that lights up. Nu står det nye år for døren. I like this, how she says this. Now the new year is at the door. It's knocking. And tonight it is New Year's Eve. I aften fejrer vi nytårsaften. Foran os ligger et år, som vi møder med forventning. Of course, in front of us, a year with expectations. Men også med bekymring. Also with worry. For det sker voldsomme ting ude i verden. Because there are violent things happening in the world. And when she talks about how some years are really clear in our mind because we connect them to certain events. For example, 1943, we remember as being the saving of the Danish Jews, which was around 80 years ago, 80 år siden. I'm highlighting the numbers because numbers is something that's at the end of last year, almost everyone in my classes was still struggling with numbers. So this year I'm planning a big workshop on numbers. We need to get this under control. We have 1943, easiest way to say it is like that. And then number 80 is 80. Anyway, she asks a question. Hvad skal vi gøre, når uskyldige mennesker bliver angrebet? Good question. Does she give us an answer? Let's listen a little bit more.
Det viste den danske befolkning dengang. Almindelige borgere hjalp helt spontant deres medmennesker, advarede naboen, skjulte kollegaen og bragte familier i sikkerhed i Sverige. for langt de fleste danske jøder lykkedes flugten fra nazisternes folkemord. Dengang Danmark var besat, gav min farfar Christian 10. udtryk for det, som var holdningen i befolkningen. Jøder var og er agtede borgere i det danske samfund. Når vi kender hinanden, formår vi også at leve os ind i hinandens skæbne. Så følger medfølelse og hjælpsomhed som noget ganske naturligt.
Firstly, I love hearing the shuffling of the papers during this audio file. So, she says that, well, she asked the question before, hvad skal vi gøre, når uskyldige mennesker bliver angrebet? What should we do when innocent people are being attacked? And she says that, well, back then, the Danes knew what to do. The Danish population showed us that. Ordinary citizens spontaneously helped their fellow man. They warned their neighbor, they hid colleagues, and they brought families safely to safety in Sweden. The vast majority of Danish Jews escaped the Nazi genocide. Yeah. Incredible. When Denmark was occupied by my grandfather, she continues, Christian X, this X, of course, meaning Tiende, expressed what was the attitude of the population, and that was that Jews were respected. They were and are respected citizens in Danish society. So people respected the Jewish people and they helped them to escape. So she's basically pointing at, let's take inspiration from there, and that's what we should be doing. We should be helping each other. When we know each other, we also manage to live into each other's destiny. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to translate. What does she mean by that? Let me read it again. Når vi kender hinanden, formår vi også at leve os ind i hinandens skæbne. Yeah, when we know each other, we also basically try to put ourselves in the other person's position, right? We try to live and imagine what it would be like if that was us. And as a result of that, compassion and helpfulness, it comes naturally. So my favorite words in this little part was almindelige borgere, just average citizens, spontaneously, nice word, at advare, to warn, skjulte, hidden, at skjule is to hide, and i sikkerhed, in safety, in security, something like that. So it's by no means a complete practical solution, but we're not expecting that from dronning Margrethe, but she is saying that, vi skal være sammen om disse ting. Det var jo nemt bare at læne os tilbage og tænke, jamen det er ikke mig, så det går nok. Hey people, remember, if you're not doing so already, you can download show notes over on my website. You can get access to essential Danish Tube membership, where you'll be able to get show notes as well as exercises related to the podcast, so you can practice some of the key words and phrases that you hear during the episodes, as well as other video courses, ebooks, interactive exercises, Q&A sessions, and weekly classes. It is now a complete platform for Danish learners of all levels. Come and join us and help us build this Danish learning community. See you there, links in description.
Det år, som vi tager afsked med i aften, 2023, vil blive husket for det grufulde terrorangreb på civile i Israel. Det er ikke til at fatte. Grufuld er også den krig, der er fulgt efter. Her er ingen vindere, kun tabere. Kvinder og børn har ikke selv valgt krigen, men de betaler prisen. Uskyldige mennesker er de første ofre, ikke alene i Mellemøsten, langt herfra, men også i Danmark. Krigen får antisemitismen til igen at brede sig. Det er ulykkeligt og skændigt. Jeg vil i aften komme med en utvetydig opfordring til alle, til at vi alle i Danmark behandler hinanden med respekt.
Så som altid, så kommer der måske 2, 3, 4 måske forskellige emner under hendes tale. So there's always a couple of different topics, right? The first one she just sort of named, hun nævnte julen, og nu kommer vi lidt ind på krigen. Krig er vores emne lige nu. Let's see, the year that we're sort of saying goodbye to. The year we say goodbye to tonight, 2023. And there was a little thing here I noticed was that she said 20 and 23. 20 og 23. And I often tell people in my class not to say in the middle, 20 og 23, because then you have two and mostly I hear people now saying 2023 like we do in English, so 2023. That would be my preferred way to say it. But Margrethe is interesting to listen to her language because she speaks in a different way to what you might hear every day in Quickly, of course, out on the street. So that's interesting, and there's a few other things that she says that generally people don't say. So neither is wrong, neither is right. And that's often the case with this kind of thing. You can say 20 og 23, 20 and 2023, or you can say 2023, 2023. And she says this will be remembered for the horrific terrorist attack on civilians in Israel. It is beyond comprehension. Gruesome is the war that followed. There are no winners, only losers. Women and children did not choose the war themselves, but they pay the price. Innocent people are the first victims, not only in the Middle East, far from here, but also in Denmark. The war causes anti-Semitism to spread again. It is unfortunate and shameful. Tonight I want to make an unequivocal call for all of us in Denmark to treat each other with respect. Some nice expressions. At tage afsked med I aften. At tage afsked med, a way of saying, we're ending this thing, we're saying goodbye to it. Og det vil blive husket. It will be remembered. And we have this construction of blive husket with a T, as if you're following along with the text. You always use this form of the verb if you say blive something. So if it was to become eaten, getting eaten, you say blive spist. I'm trying to use verbs that are very common. If it was work, blive arbejdet. That's a weird example. I get worked too much. But I just wanted to highlight because that's a little slightly more advanced grammar thing that happens. Det er ikke til at fatte. Det er ikke til at fatte. Det er ikke til at fatte. Yeah, at fatte is when you can comprehend something, and we hear people using this against each other when they're like, you don't get it. You just don't get it. Or get it. Understand what I'm saying to you. Fat det nu. Og det er ikke til at fatte is like saying, it's not. You can't understand why this is going on. Jeg synes, det var interessant med disse slags kommentarer, fordi det er meget passivt på en måde, og ikke fordi jeg skal, jeg ved ikke, hvad ord for det nu er. Det er en meget passiv måde. Det er ligesom at sige, det her ting, de kommer ud af ingenting, men det er jo ikke rigtigt. Right? This kind of throwaway phrase, if you like, is basically like saying, where does this come from? Like, it comes out of nowhere. And of course, that's not generally the case. There's a very long, complicated backstory and a very complex world environment som får eller påvirker ting i vores verden. Så det var jeg også meget opmærksom på, da jeg lyttede til dronning Margrethe. Two important words, vinder, taber. Here we have them as nouns, winners and losers in plural with an E on the end. If we take away the E's, we have it in single, in vinder, in taber, a winner, a loser. And you can also use these as as verbs, at tabe, at vinde, to lose, to win. De betaler prisen. That's like a way of saying, they're paying the price. We also say this in English. If you haven't heard it before, that just means that you're the one that's suffering for what's going on. And she's saying here that the women and the children are the ones suffering. Uskyldige mennesker. I always love this word. Uskyldige. It's not being used in a great context here, but it's a nice word. We have mennesker and ofre, victims. Antisemitismen breder sig. This is something we heard a lot during Corona. to spread. When something's spreading, det breder sig. Det er ulykkeligt og skændigt. Two very nice words, despite their negative connotations and uses. Shameful, skændigt. It's miserable and shameful. Utvetydig is like when there's no doubt about what she's trying to say, no ambiguities. Unequivocal, I think, is a word I used earlier, which might also work again here. En opfordring kunne vi også oversætte til, it's kind of like a call to action. She is challenging people to treat, behandler each other, hinanden, med respekt. With respect.
Vi skal træde tættere på hinanden, ikke fjerne os fra hinanden. Vi skal huske, at vi alle er mennesker. Det gælder såvel jøder som palæstinensere. Både jøder og palæstinensere i Danmark bliver bange, når telefonen ringer. Er der dårligt nyt om familien? De ukrainske flygtninge kender den samme angst. Året 2022 vil altid være knyttet til overfaldet på Ukraine. I år er krigen fortsat med samme styrke og med store tab af menneskeliv. Selvom opmærksomheden lige nu er rettet mod Mellemøsten, så skal ukrainernes kamp for frihed ikke blive glemt.
We must move closer together, not further apart. Vi skal træde tættere, being closer. Træde is almost like to step, move closer. Ikke fjerne os fra hinanden. Fjerne is an interesting word because it's used again in so many ways. It can mean to erase, delete. But when you are, absent from one another, you can also use it in this way. Vi skal huske, we must remember that we're all people. And well, that goes for both Jews and Palestinians. Both Jews and Palestinians in Denmark are afraid. They get scared when the phone rings. De bliver bange, når telefonen ringer. Here's a nice thing of bliver being used as sort of a change of state, right? You often use the word bliver, meaning become almost, when you go from not something to something. In this case, not being afraid to being afraid. The phone rings and now you become afraid. You get scared. Så du bliver bange. Er der dårligt nyt om familien? Interesting also way of how it's worded in Danish. Is there bad news about the family, basically? Is there a bad update on the family? The Ukrainian refugees know the same feeling. They are familiar with the same anxiety. The year 2022 will always be linked to the assault on Ukraine. This year, the war has continued with the same force and with great loss of life. Although attention is currently focused on the Middle East, the Ukrainian struggle for freedom should not be forgotten. Det kan jeg godt lide. Jeg kan godt lide, at hun nævner det, fordi igen, det er så nemt at glemme det, når man sidder i lillemors hus i en lille bitte landsby i Farnsfield i England, hvor jeg er lige nu, og så glemmer man om alt det her. Det påvirker ikke mig. Så man glemmer at følge med, og man glemmer at gøre noget, og sige noget højt, og snakke om det med andre mennesker. Det vil jeg virkelig forsøge at gøre noget mere i år. So I'm saying, like, I like this point that she makes because it's so easy when you're in your mother's house in a tiny little village in England, far away from all of this, like, doesn't bother me, doesn't affect me. So you just forget about it. You forget to check what's going on. You forget to speak up about it, talk about it with people. I mean, these things, I care about these things, but it's very easy for me to get lost in my own little corner of the universe and think that making a podcast episode about the Queen's speech is the most important thing in the world. But it's not. Actually, the things that she's saying in the speech are far more important than any of this. So det skal vi alle sammen huske. We all need to remember that. A few nice words at the end here in sort of this topic, still within war. Styrke, strength, tab, loss. Hun siger tab af menneskeliv, loss of life, basically. And frihed, of course, frihed being freedom. Their fight for freedom, kamp for frihed.
Dansk opbakning har stor betydning for det ukrainske folk. Det kom klart til udtryk, da præsident Zelensky besøgte Danmark i sommer. Det kan vi godt være stolte af. Min nytårshilsen i aften går til alle, som fejrer nytår i skyggen af terror og krig. Det er ikke alene krig og konflikter, som gør fremtiden usikker. Vejret synes at løbe løbsk i forskellige retninger. Det virker uoverskueligt, og det skræmmer.
Did you get that? Fik du det? Hun kommer over i et andet emne, og nu skifter vi emnet. So now we're changing the topic. Og hvad er emnet? What is the topic? Det er nemlig vejret. The weather. Vejret. So she finished her part here about the war, saying Danish support means a lot for the Ukrainian people. That was clearly expressed when President Zelensky visited Denmark this summer. We can be proud of that. Det kan vi være stolt af. Det kan vi godt være stolte over, siger hun. Jeg tror faktisk, hun sagde stolt af. In the text here it says over, but I think she said af. Which, again, no sort of wrong, right or wrong here. You can be stolt over something. You can be stolt af something. Not going to go into too much detail about that, but you can be both. What else we have here? So yeah, now she starts to move on. My New Year greetings go to everybody who is celebrating the New Year in the shadow of terror and war. Wow, that was pretty deeply said. Nytår i skyggen af terror og krig. Terror og krig. Men det er ikke alene krig og konflikter, som gør fremtiden usikker, unsure, uncertain. Sikker is a really nice, useful word in Danish because it can mean something is certain, something sure, something is safe. There's many different uses of that word. And she says that the weather seems to be running wild in different directions. It seems unmanageable and it's scary and it scares people. Yeah, jeg for nylig var i Sydamerika. I was recently in South America and woke up one day. Jeg vågnede, og vi havde fået stormvejr gennem natten, og der var virkelig mange træer, som blev faldet. A lot of trees were destroyed during the night. They all fell down and all the streets were blocked. And then a few days after that, jeg hørte også, at i England man havde fået oversvømmelser, flooding, oversvømmelser. So yeah, it seems like from one side of the world to the other side of the world, there's all these crazy things going on with the weather. Let's see what else she says about that.
Rundt om i verden bliver mennesker ramt på forskellig vis. De fleste husker nok, at juli herhjemme var kølig og regnfuld. 2023 blev det vådeste år i dansk vejrhistorie. Men for hele jorden blev juli og august de 2 varmeste måneder nogensinde. I sidste måned udsendte FN en ny klimarapport. Alvoren er tydelig. Klodens klima forandrer sig hurtigere, end man troede. Vi er nødt til at forholde os til klimaforandringerne. Konsekvenserne er ikke kun fremtid. De er her allerede, og de er voldsomme. Det er de fleste i Danmark fuldstændig klar over, selvom det har været vanskeligt for nogen af os helt at indse det. Nu må vi sammen finde håbet og viljen til at gøre noget.
Sådan, så kommer vi ind i endnu en vigtig samtale, nemlig klimakrisen, klimaforandringerne, climate changes. And the Queen says, around the world, people are being hit in different ways. De fleste husker nok here meaning probably. Most people probably remember that in July at home it was chilly and rainy, very rainy. In July, the hell? And again she says 20 og 23 blev det vådeste år i dansk vejrhistorie. The wettest year in Danish weather history. But for the entire world, July and August were the warmest months ever. And there was a report from FN, a climate report, and the seriousness of this is clear. The globe's climate change, the globe's climate is changing quicker than we thought. Vi er nødt til at forholde os til klimaforandringer. klimaforandringerne. We need to pay attention. We need to do something about these climate changes. Konsekvenserne er ikke kun fremtid. The consequences are not just the future. De er her allerede, og de er voldsomme. They are here already. We're already seeing the consequences of these things. Most people in Denmark are very aware of it, even though it's difficult to admit it. This is the case with so many things in life, right? Virkelig mange ting, og mange af de problemer, som påvirker disse forandringer, ved vi også godt om. Vi ved, at de eksisterer, men det er svært for os at indse dem og kigge på dem. Indse, a really nice word here, indse, to realize. It's sometimes hard to realize, or maybe it's not even hard. Maybe we're just so stuck in our patterns that it's we don't want to admit indrømme. We don't want to admit it, that there are certain things we can do. Nu må vi sammen finde håbet og viljen til at gøre noget. We need to find hope and the will to do something. Ja, og uden at vi skulle komme helt ind på et andet emne, men den største ting du kan gøre, det er, at du kan lade være med at spise dyr. The biggest thing you can do, you might not want to hear it, but it is stop eating animals. And Denmark, you've probably heard, is at the forefront of this, where they are making an action plan, en handlingsplan for plantebaserede fødevarer. Plant-based food products. That is the future, people. Hold on tight, because that's where we're going, the green road.
Tidligere i denne måned var der klimatopmøde i Dubai. Her deltog kronprinsen sammen med danske ministre. Danmark er et rigt land med en vigtig international stemme. Det forpligter. Vi har også flere af de tekniske løsninger, der skal til. Det gør mig stolt, at danske forskere og virksomheder er med til at skabe en fremtid, hvor vi passer på vores klode og natur.
I love how you say this in Danish, topmøde, klimatopmøde, which I guess is like, say, a climate summit, but, you know, it's like a big meeting. There was a top meeting in Dubai where the Crown Prince participated. She goes on to say Denmark is a rich country with an important international voice, en stemme, a voice, which is an obligation. Det forpligter, it obliges, literally, forpligter here being the verb. And we also have several of the technical solutions that are needed. Der skal til. This is interesting how you say der skal til. This is how you say, you know, what is needed to do something. So you have a problem, you might say, hvad skal der til? Hvad skal der til for at vi løse dette problem, for eksempel? Det gør mig stolt. This is a really important construction because in English we say something makes me happy, proud, sad, etc., etc. And this is how you would say in Danish, det gør mig stolt. At the Danish researchers and businesses are helping to create a future where we take care of our planet and nature. Vi passer på vores klode og natur. Yeah, skabe, an important, useful word, to create. Vi skaber en fremtid. Så hvad synes du? What do you think? Hvad synes du om, at Danmark er med til at skabe en fremtid, hvor vi passer på vores klode og natur? Er det rigtigt? Is it true? What do you think about it? Leave me a comment, let me know. Og hvad synes du, vi kunne gøre som individer for at være med til den her forandring, som vi skal lave? What do you think we could do as individuals? Leave me a comment in the comment section.
I det forløbende år har der været talt meget om kunstig intelligens. En ny teknologi, som vil kunne ændre vores liv på måder, vi knap kan forestille os. Men hvordan? Hvad kan følgerne blive? Måske kan den forbedre vores samfund, men vil vi kunne styre det? Skal vi være begejstrede eller bekymrede? Jeg tror, vi skal være eftertænksomme og opmærksomme. Den nye teknologi er jo netop kunstig. Den tænker ikke selv. Den bliver fodret med det, mennesker allerede har skabt.
Så skifter vi emne endnu en gang. We are changing topic once again. Og fik du, hvad det var? Hvad er emnet nu? Det er jo kunstig intelligens. Artificial intelligence. In Danish, kunstig. Anytime something is artificial, det er kunstigt. So, yeah, she says that in the past year, there's been a lot of talk about artificial intelligence. It was very cute. I'm also doing it now. It was very cute how she tried to read it. She sort of tripped over her own words and sort of chuckled a little bit. Hun grinede lidt, og så skulle hun starte forfra. Men det er en ny teknologi, som vil kunne ændre vores liv på måder, vi næppe kan forestille os. Here in the text it says næppe. The queen actually said knap. So it's a new technology that could change our lives in ways we can hardly imagine. But how? What could the implications be? It may improve our society, but will we be able to control it? De store spørgsmål. Vil vi kunne styre det? Styre, to steer, but also to control. Forbedre, to improve. Skal vi være begejstrede eller bekymrede? Should we be excited or should we be worried? Begejstrede, bekymrede. Here's a nice sort of start, a prefix that you see in a lot of words in Danish. B and E, begejstret, bekymret, etc., etc. Tale. Many words like that. And the queen thinks that we should be thoughtful and attentive. We should be sort of conscious and attentive. Because this new technology is exactly that. It is artificial. It doesn't think for itself. It gets fed. Den bliver fodret. Earlier I mentioned this bliver, and then the verb here, the same thing is happening with the verb at fodre. We have fodret, the past particle form of the verb. Den bliver fodret med det, mennesker allerede har skabt. It gets fed what people already have created. Ja, det har været et spændende år. Det var et spændende år i 2023. I forhold til kunstig intelligens. It was a really exciting year in 20 and 23 in regards to artificial intelligence. What do you think about it? Hvad synes du om kunstig intelligens? Læg en kommentar. Write a comment. Let me know. Bruger du det? Bruger du for eksempel ChatGPT? Og hvad bruger du det til? What do you use it for? Skal vi være begejstrede? Eller skal vi være bekymrede? Should we be excited or should we be worried? See if you can answer this question in the chat box.
Kunstig intelligens efterlader os med et helt grundlæggende spørgsmål. Hvad er det, der gør os mennesker til noget ganske særligt? Vi mennesker har håb og nysgerrighed. Vi har indlevelse og kreativitet. Vi har evnen til at skabe og til at tænke selv. Det er det, der har bragt os vidt. Det må vi ikke glemme. Teknologien og maskinerne har for længst overtaget meget af håndens arbejde. Men alligevel betyder det ikke, at vi mennesker sidder med hænderne i skødet. Jeg har lagt mærke til, at mange igen har fundet en hobby eller et håndarbejde frem. Det begyndte nok under coronakrisen, men så kunne man ikke holde op igen. Det gælder i hvert fald for mig. Man får ro på sig selv, når man sidder med et sygtøj, eller har noget andet mellem hænderne. Det gælder for alle aldersgrupper.
Okay, vi er ikke helt over i et nyt emne endnu, men det var sjovt, hun begyndte lidt og så træde ind i et nyt emne. She sort of started going a little bit over into a new topic. And what was that topic? Fik du det? Hvad var det for et emne? Det var nemlig hobbyer, kreativitet, noget som er meget, meget vigtigt for dronning Margrethe. Creativity, something that's very important for Queen Margrethe. But she said artificial intelligence leaves us with this fundamental question, et grundlæggende spørgsmål. Hvad er det, der gør os mennesker til noget ganske særligt? What is it that makes us humans special? Ja, det skal man passe på med også, fordi nogle gange så synes vi, at vi er noget ganske særligt, ikke også? Og så synes vi, at vi har ret til at lave det ene og det andet. Så man skal også huske at være beskeden, to be modest. We need to also remember to be modest. So while we need to acknowledge that we are noget ganske særligt, så skal vi også være beskeden. Det er bare min pointe. We are something very special, but we also need to be modest and not get carried away with that idea, because sometimes we use that idea to justify things that we do. Nå, jeg er et menneske, jeg er intelligent, jeg er smart, jeg kan tænke og alt det der. Så det betyder, at jeg må hvad som helst. Selvfølgelig er det ikke sådan. Vi mennesker har håb og nysgerrighed. We have hope and curiosity. We have empathy and creativity. We have the ability to, I like this, evnen til, anytime you have or do not have the ability to, evnen til. Jeg har ikke evnen til at skabe og til at tænke selv. Nej, det har jeg. I have the ability to create and to think for myself. Det er det, der har bragt os vidt. That is what has taken us this far. Det må vi ikke glemme. Yeah, let's not forget that. We are the ones that have gone this far in regards to, again, kunstig intelligens. Teknologien og maskinerne har for længst overtaget meget af håndens arbejde. They've sort of been, for a long time, taking over a lot of handwork, and I noticed this recently in a hotel when jeg tjekkede ind, og der var en maskine, hvor man kunne tjekke ind sådan, ikke automatisk, du ved, men uden at man skulle tale med nogen. Og jeg synes, det var meget fedt. Jeg har aldrig prøvet det før. Det var sådan lidt sjovt. Det gjorde det lidt nemt at gøre. Men det var en medarbejder, som sagde, det er ikke så godt. Det tager vores arbejde. Og det var meget trist, faktisk. Jeg tænkte, du har ret. Undskyld. Så næste gang måske skal jeg snakke med nogen. This guy in the hotel was a bit sad that I was using the machine. He was like, it's taking our work. It's like, it's kind of true as well. But, well, you can never replace people, even though you have a little machine that helps you to check in. There's always going to be people that prefer. Men alligevel betyder det ikke, at vi mennesker sidder med hænderne i skyllet. It doesn't mean that we are sitting with our hands on our laps. She continues, I have noticed that many have found a hobby or a craft again. So brought out their hobby or their craft, and this probably began during the corona crisis. She couldn't get through the speech without mentioning corona. Corona. Vi kan ikke komme væk fra det. Men så kunne man ikke holde op igen. Then you just couldn't stop again, right? So you started something during corona, and then you continued it, which is great. Positivitet. Der kom noget positivt ud af coronakrisen. Something positive out of corona. Det gælder i hvert fald for mig. Det var meget sødt igen. Hun grinte lidt sådan, den grinede lidt. Det gælder i hvert fald for mig. Men man får ro på sig selv. You sort of, what can I say? Igen, det kan få på sig, når man sidder med et sygtøj. Okay. So she's kind of, maybe we have to reword it a bit in English and say, when you're sitting with a sewing kit or something else in your hands, it sort of calms you down, and this applies to all ages. I have to say, the first time I heard her say that, my mind goes to crazy places, but let's not go into that. Når man sidder med sygtøj, eller har noget andet mellem hænderne, something else between your hands, what could that be? I don't know. Maybe a cigarette. Men ja, det var det. Lad os fortsætte. Jeg tror, vi fortsætter lidt med dette emne nu. Hobbyer, kreativitet. Lad os høre, hvad hun siger.
For mange af os er det en fritidsbeskæftigelse at holde hænderne i gang. For andre er det et livsvilkår, en profession. Det gælder for dem, der lægger murstenene, trækker kablerne, maler væggene i de huse, hvor vi bor. Dem, der bygger vindmøllerne, så vi får ren energi. Dem, der passer os, når vi er indlagt på sygehuset. Eller plejer os, når vi ikke længere kan klare os selv. Det er alt sammen funktioner, der kræver håndlag, kundskaber og uddannelse, og som i den grad fortjener respekt. Godt håndværk er en nydelse at opleve. At betragte en velbygget mur, At se på en blank og smukt malet væg. At beundre et møbel, hvor træet er behandlet med omsorg og indsigt. Det fylder mig med glæde hver gang.
Det var sødt at høre. That was sweet to hear. Man kan virkelig høre, at Margrethe bliver spændt på disse slags ting, kreative ting, håndværk. You can really hear and see in her that she gets excited about these kind of things. So she says, for many of us, for mange af os, keeping our hands busy. Yeah, it's a hobby, just keeping your hands busy, right? For others, it's a way of life. It's a profession. Okay, so vi kommer faktisk ind på noget andet, ikke kun kreativitet, men erhvervslivet, right? Your profession, your professional life. Et livs vilkår, siger hun, en profession, nemlig. Og det gælder for dem, I like this, det gælder for dem, which is like, it applies for those laying the bricks, putting the cables, painting the walls in the houses where we live, those who build the windmills so we have clean energy, those who take care of us when we are in the hospital, or when we are hospitalized, eller care for us when we no longer can care for ourselves. Så nu snakker vi også lidt om fællesskabet igen. The community aspect of living, of being in a society. So lægger murstenene to lay the bricks, trækker kablerne, maler to paint, bygger to build. A lot of really nice verbs here. Plejer in this context means to take care of. These are all functions that require, how could I translate this? Skill, maybe, knowledge, education. We have håndelag. I don't have a good translation for this word håndelag, but I believe it's just referring to when you're good at doing something with your hands. So maybe we just say skill. But kundskaber, yeah, it's your knowledge. When you når du har kundskab til noget, it means that you know about, you're good at it. Og uddannelse, education. I den grad fortjener respect. Yeah, they deserve respect. Good craftsmanship is an enjoyment it's a pleasure rather to experience. To look at a well-built wall, to look at a shiny and beautifully painted wall, to admire a piece of furniture where the wood has been treated with care and insight, it fills me with joy every time. I love that. Beundre, another word with be in front of it, beundre. Undre is to wonder about something, and beundre, to admire et møbel, a furniture. Og behandle, also a good word here, to treat. And fylder, to fill. Det fylder mig med glæde. Det fylder mig med glæde. It fills me with joy. So, not really too much to take from this part. Jeg tror bare, at det er det med, at man skal gøre det, som gør man glad. Man skal forsøge at få en hobby, eller have en hobby. Gør noget kreativt, fordi det er vigtigt for os som mennesker. Og selvom der er mange, som siger, jeg er ikke kreativ, jeg ved ikke, hvad jeg skal gøre. Many people are like, I'm not creative, I don't know what I should do. Man kan være kreativ på virkelig mange måder. Det kan være, at du elsker at lave mad. Så kan du, lave en kogebog eller noget. You could create a cookbook if you're really into cooking food, for example, vegan food. I hope. Dropping little seeds in where I can. Det er vigtigt for mig at gøre. Brug din kreativitet. Det er budskabet, tror jeg. I think that's the message. It's budskab being a message. When you almost like when you have a story, you have a moral behind the story. That's called its budskab, whereas in besked is a message, just like a message you would have on your phone or something like that.
Året 2023 vil vi huske som det år, hvor vi kunne fejre, at mit barnebarn, prins Christian, fyldte 18 år. Det blev en stor og, tror jeg, dejlig dag for ham. Han stod frem på en måde, der gjorde hele hans familie stolt af ham. Han var omgivet af søde, forventningsfulde og muntre unge fra hele riget, og han holdt en tale, der optvang stor respekt. Det gjorde hans farmor stolt. Prins Christian sagde tingene, som de var. Det gjorde man ikke så meget, da jeg var ung. I dag tør de unge vise, at de også kan være usikre. Den åbenhed er en styrke, som vi andre må beundre, og som vi kan lære af.
One more topic change here. A small topic change. Did you get it? Hvad snakker hun om nu? What is she talking about now? She's talking about that it was the year we will remember how we celebrated vi kunne fejre her grandchild, Prins Christians 18 års fødselsdag, his 18th birthday. I'm sure you all get a good smile when you think about that after party Instagram video that was going around after that. That was interesting. Det blev en stor og, tror jeg, dejlig dag for ham. It was a big and really nice day for him. Yeah, for him, sorry. He sort of stood forward in a way that made all his family proud of him. Stolt af ham. Jeg er stolt af ham. Jeg er stolt af dig. Er du stolt af mig? Proud of you, him, me, she. And he was surrounded by sweet, expectant and cheerful young people from all over the kingdom. I like this way she speaks, how she refers to Denmark as real, the kingdom, real, which, if you haven't seen, is a great and bit weird series by Lars von Trier. Det skal du også se. Anyway, he gave a speech that commanded great respect. It made his grandmother proud. Det gjorde hans farmor stolt. Earlier we had this thing of it makes me in present tense. Det gør mig. Now we have it in past tense. Det gjorde mig, eller den gjorde mig, she's saying. It made me proud. Prince Christian, he said things as they were. Yeah, he told it like it was. And people didn't do that so much when I was young. Så jeg synes, det her er noget, som hun synes er meget vigtigt, og som jeg godt kan relatere til, og jeg synes også, at det er vigtigt. Og det betyder ikke, at man er arrogant, eller at man forsøger at fornærme andre, ikke også? Right? This thing of saying things like they are isn't about being arrogant or trying to offend people, men det er vigtigt at bruge din stemme og sige de ting, som du synes, men på en god måde, på en respektfuld måde, hvor man faktisk kan holde en åben samtale. Det arbejder jeg selv meget på lige nu. So this thing of having an open conversation, speaking with respect, but also speaking with dignity and strength, and showing that, you are able to say things like they are. Meget, meget vigtigt. Today, she continues, today young people dare to show that they can be insecure. Their openness is a strength that we all should admire and that we can learn from. Ja, det er meget godt. Jeg har ikke noget mere at sige.
Alle kender det lille ord tak. Det er et dejligt ord, både at sige og at høre. I det ord ligger erkendelsen af, at et menneske ikke står alene. Det er også ordet, vi benytter netop som nytårshilsen. Tak for det gamle år. Tak for den hjertelighed og gæstfrihed, jeg møder overalt i Danmark. I rigsfællesskabet er vi 3 lande og 3 folk. Vi har vores identitet og kultur og hver vort sprog. Men vi er knyttet sammen af en fælles historie, og vi er forbundne som mennesker. I aften vil jeg ønske et godt nytår for alle i Grønland og for alle på Færøerne. Ofte går mine tanker nordpå til de 2 lande og til de 2 folk, men tak for alt, hvad de har givet mig i årenes løb.
Hvad snakker hun om nu? Det her, det var de perfekte stykker til os, der lærer dansk, right? The perfect part of the speech for people learning Danish. And it's really funny because she says, everybody knows that little word, tak. Alle kender det lille ord, tak. Det er meget sødt. Og det gør vi. We do, right? Det er dejligt et dejligt ord, både at sige og at høre. It's a lovely word, both to say and to hear. Yeah, it has a nice sound. It's easy to say, right? We all love saying tak. And it's an acknowledgement that we're not alone. And it's a word that we also use during our New Year greeting. We say, thanks for the year that has passed. Thanks for last year. Or thank you for the new year also. Tak for the warmth, hjertelighed og gæstfrihed, your hospitality. Thanks for the hospitality that I get over all of Denmark. In the Danish realm, I guess you might say, rigsfællesskabet, we are 3 countries, 3 lande og 3 folk. 3 countries and 3 peoples, if you like. We have our identity, our culture and our language. Jeg synes, det her var meget, meget interessant, fordi selvfølgelig har man en forbindelse i de her 3 lande, Sverige, Norge, Danmark. Right? They have a really strong identity, a strong history, and a strong connection, en forbindelse. Men det har vi faktisk alle sammen, ikke også? Det synes jeg, hele verden rundt, uanset hvor du er fra, all over the world, no matter where you are from. It's important for me to highlight that this isn't something that is special just for Scandinavia, right? Scandinavia has its own little historie, baghistorie, sprog, kultur, identitet, som hun nævner, right? Language, culture, identity, as she names. But we all have that. So no matter where you are from, listening to this podcast, know that you are not left out of that. Even though the Queen doesn't mention your country, you are a part of the world citizenship, which does now exist, and we recognize that. Det er vigtigt at huske. Tonight I would like to wish a Happy New Year to everyone in Greenland, to everyone in the Faroe Islands. Often my thoughts go north to the 2 countries and the 2 peoples, thanking them for all they have given me over the years.
Min nytårshilsen går også til de danske i Sydslesvig, og til de mange andre danske, som opholder sig og har deres virke i udlandet. Ved årsskiftet takker jeg alle i forsvaret, politiet og beredskabet. I gør en beundringsværdig og helt uundværlig indsats for vort land. En ganske særlig tak skal lyde fra mig i aften. Tak for alt, hvad jeg og min familie har modtaget af varme og hengivenhed igennem mange, mange år. Om 14 dage har jeg været Danmarks dronning i 52 år. Så lang tid går ikke sporløst hen over noget menneske, heller ikke mig. Tiden slider, og dårligdommene bliver flere. Man overkommer ikke længere det samme, som man kunne engang. I februar i år gennemgik jeg en omfattende rygoperation. Den forløb godt, takket være det dygtige sundhedspersonale, der tog sig af mig. Operationen gav naturligvis også anledning til at gøre sig tanker om fremtiden. Om ikke tiden var inde til at overlade ansvaret til den næste generation.
Og nu kommer vi til den store nyhed. Endnu et emneskift. Yet again, another little twist in the tale here. And she's now personally thanking people, right? She thanked the police, for example, the fire service and so on and so on, but she came in to start, she said like a particular, you're going to hear a special thank you from me tonight. Thanks for everything that my family have received over the many, many years. Modtaget, a good word that we often have in the podcast, not this time, but maybe next time. Received. In 14 days, I would have been Queen of Denmark for 52 years. Wow, utroligt, incredible. Such a long time does not pass without a trace on any human being, not even me. She's basically saying that, such a long time, it leaves a mark on you, right? It affects you. Time wears away, and the bad days become more frequent. Okay. Så nu snakker hun lidt om at blive ældre, ikke også? She's talking about getting older. Time passes and the bad days become more frequent. Yeah, you can no longer overcome the same things that you once could. And she's sort of leading into saying, this is my time. Nu er tiden omme. If in February last year I went through a comprehensive back operation, rygoperation, and it went good, thanks to the skilled health professionals, de dygtige sundhedspersonale. Dygtig is a really nice word. Whenever you are skilled or good at something, so I do dygtig. It went well, thanks to the healthcare professionals who took care of me. Of course, the surgery also made me think about the future. Gav naturligvis også anledning til at gøre sig tanker om fremtiden. It's almost like it led into thoughts of the future, and whether or not it was time to hand over responsibility to the next generation. Om ikke tiden var inde. If tiden er inde, then time is up. You might say overlade to give something over to the next person. Ansvaret, the responsibility, næste generation, next generation. Yeah, and this is where all people on Instagram started going crazy. I think let's hear her last part of the speech all the way to the end, and we will wrap it up.
Jeg har besluttet, at det er nu, der er det rigtige tidspunkt. Den 14. januar 2024, 52 år efter at jeg efterfulgte min elskede far, vil jeg træde tilbage som Danmarks dronning. Jeg overlader tronen til min søn, kronprins Frederik. I aften vil jeg først og fremmest sige tak. En tak for den overvældende varme og støtte, som jeg har modtaget gennem alle år. En tak til de skiftende regeringer, som det altid har været givende at arbejde sammen med. Og til Folketinget, som altid har mødt mig med tillid. Min tak skal lyde til alle de mange, mange mennesker, som ved særlige begivenheder, såvel som i hverdagen, har omsluttet mig og min familie med kærlige ord og tanker. Det har gjort disse år til en række af perler. Den støtte og bistand, som jeg har modtaget gennem årene, har været afgørende for, at jeg kunne løfte min opgave. Det er mit håb, at det nye kongepar vil blive mødt med den samme tillid og hengivenhed, som er blevet mig til del. Det fortjener de. Det fortjener Danmark. Så vil jeg afslutte min sidste nytårstale med de ord, som jeg plejer. Gud bevarer Danmark. Gud bevarer jer alle sammen.
Det blev meget, meget følsom der til sidst. Right? Very emotional there at the end, how she said, Gud bevarer jer alle sammen. Man kunne virkelig høre, at det var sidste gang, hun kom til at sige det. You could really hear it was the last time she was going to say it. So, I have decided, jeg har besluttet, at det er nu. It's right now. Den 14. the 14th Januar. Be careful with the word Januar. It's always the y sound in Danish with the J. If it has a j sound, it's usually from English, like jungle. A jungle is jungle. 52 years after succeeding my beloved father, I will step down as Queen of Denmark. Jeg vil træde tilbage, literally step back. And I will hand over the throne, tronen, to my son, Crown Prince Frederik. Yeah, tonight, first and foremost, first og fremmest, sige tak. She wants to say thank you. Thank you for the overvældende warmth, varme, støtte, support that I have received, again, modtaget gennem årene, throughout the years. En tak til de skiftende regeringer. Regeringer is the, what is it called? The governments, with whom it has always been rewarding to work with, and also the Danish Parliament, Folketinget. So here, en regering is a government, Folketinget is the Parliament. They've always trusted her. This word tillid is a really nice word. Hvis du har tillid til nogen, then you trust in that person. And her thanks must go out to many people who have surrounded she says, me and my family with loving words and thoughts at special events, as well as in everyday life. Så vil i hverdagen, as well as in everyday life. Det har gjort disse år til en række af perler. This was also interesting for me because she says it's made these years a string of pearls, which is, what I love about listening to the Queen. She always has interesting ways to say things, right? We say this in English, right, as well. When something is a pearl, it means it's been really great. But something else interesting is she says rækker af perler, whereas usually in Danish now you omit the af. Like for example, when you say a cup of coffee, you say en kop kaffe. You don't say en kop af kaffe. So here again, you probably usually say en række perler without the eh, and I guess this is a thing that happens over time because of the way you say it. It's a little bit difficult in a way to say række af perler. It doesn't feel so nice when you say it, so it's being contracted to en række perler, which is much easier to say. But the Queen is sticking to the originals, I guess. Here she's using the word eh. So the support and the assistance I've received over the years, støtte, bistand, support, assistance, has been crucial, afgørende, crucial, essential, paramount, however you want to translate it, in enabling me to carry out my task. Yeah, løfte is to carry. Løfte min opgave, carry out my task. It's my hope that the new royal couple will be met with the same trust and samme tillid og hengivenhed, affection that I have modtaget, received. Eller what she says here, som er blevet mig til del, and another way of saying that, that I have received. Det fortjener de, fortjener, beautiful word, deserve, they deserve it. Det fortjener Danmark, Danmark deserves it. And I will end my New Year's speech with my usual words, Gud bevare Danmark. Gud bevare jer alle sammen. God save Denmark. God bless Denmark. God bless you all. Yeah, wow. Stor nyhed. Hvad synes du om denne nyhed? Er det spændende? Er det stærkt? Er det svagt? Is it strong? Is it weak? Hvad synes du? Læg en kommentar. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Hvordan reagerede du, da du hørte det? How did you react when you heard it? Leave a comment and let me know. Tak fordi du lyttede med denne gang. Jeg håber du kunne lide min analysering. Hope you liked my analysis of this speech. Vi ses i den næste episode. Hej hej.